Okay, that's 3 to 1 in Spanish, and that's all the Spanish I need. I know. So I still cannot hear anything. Oh, really? So pausing on. Okay, guys. So welcome to this Cloud 3-in-1 course. And you wanted to see the demo. So many students have already decided to go ahead, and some are going to be deciding. Some are still not here, and they said they will be coming, and they seemed very sure. So well, maybe you're on second class on Friday 7 to 10. You might see that there are some more students coming. So, right guys, first of all, about this course, this is a combination of 3 cloud courses. So, each course separately is not that easy, right? So, I've decided to put 3 courses in one. When we go through one of the cloud course from the beginning, step by step, then you will start understanding. Suppose you've never touched the cloud before, and this is the first time you're going to be actually starting to work on cloud. So we're going to understand from the basics, and then we're going to go ahead step by step. I'm going to go at your pace, so you could really understand what's going on. Basically, my teaching method is that I teach as if I'm teaching to a 5-year-old. So in my class, there are administrators there from different companies, directors come from different companies, and then there are senior administrators and senior managers there. So at the start, I say that I teach students as if they are 5-year-olds. So this means that I have to be very, very clear. I have to make sure that everyone's on the same page, right? And that because I teach complicated courses as well. Pretty much every course is complicated. I don't think any course is so easy. Every course is complicated. So these 3 courses here, I combined these 3 separate, independent, tough courses into one course because of the importance of these courses, and students wanted to compare. So I wanted to add comparison of all the clouds. Now I have already so I'm just gonna go ahead with this add notebook here and go for wherever. Okay, cloud, sorry, I do editing in front of students. Yeah, I'm the only teacher on planet Earth who does that. So there's that. Okay, today's 11Sept 2019, and it's day 1. So I just needed to explain some of the basics there, what's going on, why 3 courses, why not just one course, because isn't one tough enough, and we're talking about 3 courses, really? You're kidding me? Or well, so this is doable. This is doable by even beginners, and the only condition was that can you do really hard work? Are you really determined? Right. So first of all, the previous cloud course. Okay, so it is the font is supposed to be 20. Yeah, the previous 3-in-1 cloud course. There were 12 students, and 10 of them passed the Azure certification. It was not easy, but they really worked hard, and that's what I want you to do. If you're committing to the course, you must be ready to work hard. Nothing is easy, but nothing is impossible as well. Some of them got the jobs with cloud skills required, right? So I considered that course pretty much as successful, but really, it's your hard work that will make it successful. They really worked in groups. They went through all the labs step by step. I record every lab, so they went through the recording during the other days, and they really nailed it. They really understood what's going on. So that's what I want you to do. First of all, that previous cloud course, this is how it ended. It was successful as per the the students' success. So second thing is that AWS Solutions Architect course is by, of course, Amazon. And
Toronto's home for gaming and entertainment. Rallies and checkers has a new cheese-loaded burger. You know, it's
guys, so please turn off the mic. Please, whoever was listening to 680 News or I think CP24. So please, can you just turn off your mic? Okay, you know, I don't have that kind of controls in the web. Should have started the app.
Power on. Bluetooth pairing. Bluetooth connected.
So, anyone?
So,
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, that's good.
And you can hear me, right?
Sure, clearly.
Kindly just mute your mic. Thank you. Okay,
Kindly
guys.
what?
Okay, sorry, I'm just requesting that please mute your mic, right? Everyone
Sure.
is muted. Thank you, sir. Thank you. So, what? Oh, okay. So there's an echo. Please, everyone, can you mute your mic? There's a mic button there.
Okay, you have to mute your mic?
Yes.
Okay.
I put it in the chat. Thank you, sir. Please, everyone, mute your mic. Oops. So, oh, there's an echo. Okay. Okay. The guys, can you please mute the mic? I'm hearing echo. So, go meeting information. So, guys, let's go ahead. Ouch. So there's still. I'm trying to connect to the WebEx application where I can really mute everyone's mic. Okay, so whose mic is not muted? God, mute all. Okay, so got it there. Okay, thanks, application. So guys, here now what we were doing was, I hope you're able to still hear me clearly. So I will call in a video and call you the computer. Okay, so guys, I'm trying to connect from the application. Sorry. So are you all able to hear me? Sorry guys. I should have just practiced on this. Okay, I'll just stop it. Guys, sorry for this disturbance. I was just trying to fix that. So please join again. Sorry about that. I hope everyone's able to join. I hope everyone's able to join, guys. Sorry about that. Okay, so we will now continue with where we were, but I just connected from the software, and that's where it's pretty easy to manage everything. I should have just done that. Share my meeting window. Okay, share my meeting window. You're sharing your meeting window. Alright guys, so I hope you're able to see my slide again, this one, and what I was doing was on this screen. I hope you're able to see that as well. I'll just try to so participants and share. So before I was using another software, and this really was this software I chose as I heard it was really good. So I'll just go ahead and try to put it to one side, but I'm just trying to put some more options there. We'll full screen for participants, synchronize for all, audio and connection. Yeah, we got it. So alright guys, while we are connecting now, and you're able to see the screen now, right? So share obligation, sharing content from one monitor at a time provides the best. Okay. So guys, I hope everyone is able to see the screen. So are we all able to see this screen here? You can just
this is Kamal. Yes, I am.
Okay, you're able to see the screen of Day01 where I've put that?
No, actually I see the black screen right now, but I see your mouse moving.
Oh, okay, got it. Okay, so I'll just quickly share content here, and I'll go for this. Okay, so now you should be able to see this where I was typing, right? So I hope you're able to see that. Sorry about this, and I'll just
Yes.
Thanks, sir. Okay. Okay, so what I was trying to say is that here, AWS Solutions Architect courses by Amazon, and it is tough when it comes to managing a data center. So when we talk about cloud, and especially when we're talking about AWS's cloud, so it is going to be a little, something new. Maybe if you don't have any experience, you will gain that experience. It will be a bit new, but I'll make it so easy for you that you will be saying, that's it. I mean, I thought that was something big. So there are some very easy things to do, like creating, what do we do in a data center? So first of all, what is a data center? If I ask that, what is data center? So we contain there our company servers, which are, it could be HP, Dell, IBM machines, right? And on top of these servers, we put operating systems, right? Operating systems, and again, yeah, there's mic open for somebody. And on top of those operating systems, we put enterprise applications, right? Enterprise applications. So these are just servers. Then we have SAN. Ever heard of SAN before? Anyone? So storage area network. So this is shared storage over the network, right? So I'll just go for participants here, and I'll mute everyone's mic. So guys, normally it is easy to manage all that. So I should have just gone for my previous software, which was I'm just looking for mute here. It was join.me. Yeah, join.me was easier to manage, but I had to choose this. Okay. Mute all. Okay, now we're good. So I just found that mute all option. Oh, cool, right? So we have SAN storage area network. This is shared. This is share disk. These are share disks. You know, coming from SAN over the network, right? So in a data center, we have virtual machines. In a data center, we have then SAN storage. So if I just try to say that this is compute, which is all virtual machines, right? Everything related to virtual machines. Then there is storage. So that is everything related to uploading files and folders, company files and folders, we can say corporate files and folders, not filters, folders, and then securing them, right? Securing them. So that is storage. Then we talk about a very, very important thing as well, that is network. So in network, it would be obviously we can create private network inside public network. It's not public, it's a public network, right? So what we are able to do now, clear now, thanks. Okay, cool. So what we are able to do here is we are talking about compute in every data center, and we have virtual machines there. So if I just try to grab some pictures here and create that environment in paint. Normally I paint a lot, and that is not that kind of painting which sells in millions of dollars. I just draw painting which does not sell at all, actually. So if we go for IBM server picture here, and I'll just grab quickly some pictures and create some diagrams here just to show that what are we talking about here. So first of all, I'm just trying to show that what are data centers. Data centers would have a lot of servers there, and these maybe many of you have seen those IBM HP servers there. And then we are having on top of that you create applications, OS. On top of that you install OS. So if it was your company's data center, so you have OS there. What kind of OS would you have? Windows. It could be 2008, it could be 2012, 2016, 2019 Windows servers, or it could be Linux, Unix, Ubuntu, and especially Red Hat Linux, right? So, and on top of that, which really runs the companies, and the companies totally depend on those, and these are enterprise applications. So these enterprise applications are run on top of these servers. If these servers go down, obviously it's your job to get them up and running. I'm talking about on-premises data center here, where there's a rows and rows and rows of servers. Maybe there's a big company, 2,000 servers are there, and they are hosting 100,000 users here, 100,000 users, right? So we're talking about on-premises data centers that have been there since IT was formed. So on-premises data centers were there, and users were using enterprise applications. Suppose bankers were using banking applications, insurance company was using insurance company applications, and for that they were supposed to have a data center. Data center costs. When it comes to cost, first of all, how does a data center look like from inside? Many of you have seen that too, and there are many diagrams there. So if I just drag one diagram here so the data centers would look like this, where they are rows and rows and rows of servers after servers, and there you would have just all kind of enterprise applications there. Now these data centers for different companies would really be costly. If you are having a data center in your company, and what is the cost of a data center for a company? And we're talking about on-premises. So it's security of the data center. You would just put cameras there. You would put some outside gates there. You would put a lot of stuff there in terms of application, IPS, IDS, intrusion prevention system, intrusion detection system. Then you would make it air conditioning because the servers heat up. So you need to have air conditioning there, then raised floor and wiring, and then property cost because you're renting it or you've purchased it. So that's a lot of stuff that you have to do. That's a lot of investment that the servers that the data companies have to put on data centers. How about if the companies don't have to have data centers of their own, where maybe they are spending like $1 million per month for large companies, $1 million per month, right, for maintaining their data centers. So what if they don't have to do that? They don't have to spend, and they can save that $1 million and invest somewhere else, especially for their CEO to visit some cool places across planet Earth, right? Just kidding. Okay, so how about the companies do not have to spend on their on-premises local data centers? How about they rent somebody else's data center? So I'm just going to make a cloud here. So looks like a cloud, right? So here Microsoft's data centers available across the globe. Not we just have one globe, yeah. So across the globe. Now those data centers, and it is not data, it's data centers. So those data centers can be rented. Now Microsoft has data centers across the globe. Now I can say that obviously for all three major cloud vendors. AWS, so I'm just gonna put that there. AWS, normally I should be putting AWS on the top because that's the leader. So AWS data centers available across the globe, and then Google has data centers across the globe, right? So now they have invested billions of dollars on their data centers, invested billions of dollars on their data infrastructure, cloud. We can just say cloud infrastructure, right? Infrastructure. And the idea behind all that is why don't companies simply rent their hardware and create their virtual servers in which they will have what? OS, and on top of OS, enterprise grade applications like banking applications, like insurance company applications, like military applications, SQL servers there, SCCM servers, system center configuration manager servers, web servers, so all those. So why don't they just rent those hardware, use their business critical applications to, you know, business critical applications, and when they do not need those applications, then they will simply delete them, and whenever else they need hardware, then they can again rent it.
Has joined the meeting.
Then they can again rent it, right? So the main main benefit of cloud is that the companies do not need their data centers anymore. They don't have to spend on maintenance of those data centers, of their data centers, maybe millions of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars on their own data centers. Why don't they use Microsoft AWS's and Google's data centers that are spread across every business hub in Europe, in Asia, in Australia, in North America, right? So then they created their data centers. Now cloud equals someone else's data center, right? So now, why big deal here? Big deal is obviously companies are saving huge money if they use cloud. Companies are saving huge money by renting the hardware of these vendors. Which vendors? Microsoft, AWS, Google, right? So if companies are saving millions, why not? Why not use these? So, but the companies will say, hey, yes, that's okay. I mean, I can rent your hardware. I get the idea. I'll pay you some, and then when I don't need it, I will just remove my data there. But what about what about security, right? So are your data centers that are spread across the globe, are they secure, right? So obviously Microsoft, AWS, and Google data centers and all others cloud vendors who have invested millions of, or actually billions of dollars, wouldn't they be putting security as the main emphasis of what they're offering? So obviously there are government military, banks. They all have their critical data on these vendors data centers, right? So if government, military, and banks can have that data, their data on the cloud, on Microsoft data centers, on AWS data centers, on Google's data centers, so obviously they must have first gone through their data center security. They must have checked the physical security as well as the virtual security, network security, storage security of those data centers. Obviously then they would place their very critical data on the cloud. So when I was in Scotiabank, we had 100,000 users there, and they were planning to move their all mailboxes to Office 365, which is in the cloud in Microsoft's data center, right? So many other banks also are, either they have moved 20% of their workload, or they have moved 50% or 80% of their workload to the cloud. So normally, all the large corporates, small and medium and large companies, they're all going for cloud. Why? It saves a lot of their money. They don't have to maintain the data center. Second thing, the data centers are safe. Third thing, data centers are Microsoft, AWS, Google's data centers, these cloud vendors offer high availability of client data. Clients, who are clients? Us, or the companies, or banks, and all the insurance companies, hospitals. So these cloud vendors offer high availability of client data, right? So high availability means if on the data center side something goes wrong, they will still let the users keep their data, or keep accessing their data, right? So they offer high availability of data, which means continuous availability. No matter what kind of disaster happens, the data is highly available, right? So they offer that. And then there is that replication of data, cross region replication of data, client data, right? So what does that mean? So if the client is in North Virginia, or in North American data centers, if their data is in North American data centers, so they will offer that, if the company says, hey, AWS, my main offices are in North Virginia, but my clients are in Europe as well. So AWS says, obviously, our data centers are in Europe as well. They're in Asia as well. They're in Australia as well. So they're not yet on Moon, but they will be coming to Moon and Mars as well, right? And later maybe Pluto. So the thing is that yes, our data centers are on beside all the major business hubs across the globe. So you can have your data in North America, and it could be synchronized to European data centers there, because you have clients in EU here. So those clients will be able to access the same data that is in North America, right? So it's not written not applicable, it's North America, right? So the thing is that your data is highly available. If there are any disaster in their data centers in North American side, they will have their data. Suppose there's a disaster on East Coast, right? Suppose there's a hurricane. There was a hurricane Dorian there, right? I think it's still in Atlantic Ocean there, Atlantic side of our. So East Coast has been battered by the Hurricane Dorian. So if there was data centers in East Coast and they were affected, so the West Coast also has AWS's, Microsoft's, and Google's data centers. So if East Coast was affected, all the data would be highly available in West Coast as well, right? Or if something happens, or outage happens on continental level, they will have their data on other continent, in European continent, right? So that's where, when they say that, hey, Microsoft, AWS, Google say that all the companies of the world, we have invested billions, we know how a very efficient data center, a secure data center, highly available data center really works. So we have done our investment, and you can just leave your data centers and just rent our data centers and machines. It's going to really save you millions of dollars. So that's why companies are shrinking their own local on-premises data centers, and they're going for the cloud or vendors, and these vendors are really going on the top there. AWS being the leader as it started the whole data center race, or the cloud race. Then Microsoft joined in. Microsoft is the second one, and then Google Cloud is now also joining. But when you go for the jobs, so in terms of jobs, so I'm not talking about Steve Jobs. Okay, it's in terms of jobs here. So Azure jobs are more there in GTA. Now, many of my students in different colleges, they are, I'm teaching this course in other colleges as well, in George Brown College, at Netflix College, and well, in other private colleges as well. And now, previously I've been doing online classes, and I've started that again. So the students mainly are saying that there are more Azure jobs, than Microsoft Azure jobs, than AWS. but some students are having their companies are having AWS. Some students are having the majority of the companies have Azure. Now, when we talk about cloud vendors here, so Microsoft AWS will be adopted by all the large companies. They must have it, right? They will have it, right? 5 minutes. Okay, yes. Alright guys, there's the request for a break, so let's just take 10-minute break and then come back and then do that introduction. I'm going to be telling you a lot more details here and how we're going to do the lab. So let's just go for a 10-minute break here and then come back. 10-minute break and then come back.
Thank you, Shadad.
You're welcome. Thank you, sir. So we meet again in 8. Okay, 8:05. How about that? Right. So there's a request for the break. After that, let's just meet again because I need to tell you a lot of exciting stuff here. Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Let's take a break there.
What about if you don't want to log out?
Right. Yeah. So you don't have to log out. Yeah. You can just keep it like that, and we're gonna come back with more stuff there. Yes, actually, seriously, 15. I'll mute my mic, but when I come back, so. I hope everyone is able to hear me now. And there's a question first from Rizwan that are we going to be doing? Okay, thank you. Are we going to be doing migration? So definitely, Rizwan, we'll be doing migration. And second is that then Moham is asking that how we will be having access to the AWS lab on so we will be doing all the labs, Mulham, and where we will be doing the labs. So there's a question here, and so resuming, right? So just answering the question here, will we be doing the labs? So AWS labs we will be doing by creating our free 1-year user account. So, and this is available for 1 year. And so that's one thing. Okay, I need to just mute all the mics again, and there was that option there, participants, I think, and there is. Okay, I have to just search that option again. I hope you're able to listen to me. I hope you're hearing my sound. Okay, good. So guys, here what we're talking about, AWS Lab we will be doing by creating our free 1-year user account. Azure Lab we will be doing when I ask you to create an account, only then create an account. Do not create an account before that. Why? AWS is generous, Azure is not generous. Azure Lab we will be doing by creating our free account for 30 days in Azure Cloud, and Google Cloud Labs we will be doing on its free 1-year account. So all the lab steps will be recorded, and the video will be uploaded to YouTube, and you will have access to it pretty much forever. So as long as YouTube is up and running, you will have access to those videos, but only you will have access to those videos. No one else will have access to those videos, right? So that's what we are going to do now. There's a tuck going on here, and I guess I need to again search where was that mute everyone icon. Okay. I found that icon before, and again I've started to search. So there's a chat there, and then there's participants, and in the participants. So guys, request is please mute your mic, and okay, so unable to contact, unable to connect. Okay, there is some guy here who wants to connect. I'll just put that again there. Oops. Okay. No. I'm just putting that invitation to another guy on WhatsApp. This is not. Okay. So, guys, let's try to talk about what we're doing. Now, all the lab steps will be recorded and video will be uploaded to YouTube, and you will have access to it forever. Second thing is, there was that, somebody was asking about how long would the course be, how long this course complete. So I did mention that so what if you had an account before. So there's another question, if you have an account that before as well. Wait, say this person to annotate the shared content. Okay, approve. Annotate. Really? Okay. So guys, first of all, first question is from Samir. How long is the course? So course is, so it starts, course starts 11 September 2019 and ends on 29th November 2019, right? And it is 2 days a week, and it's Wednesday, Friday, and it is 7 to 10, right? So evening, obviously. And the second question is, if you have an account, Fahad is asking if you have already an account. Yes, Fahad, you can use that account. Make sure your AWS, Azure, Google account is not being used by the company. Do not use company accounts. So do not use your company accounts. We're going to be creating complicated labs there, which I'm going to make sure that you understand each and every step of that. So those labs might really disrupt any of the company's functionality, right? So day-to-day tasks and jobs. So please do not use your company accounts. If you already have a free tier, just go ahead and use that. So guys, when we are using the free tier AWS, Azure, Google Cloud account, so we will create labs, understand all concepts about them, and then at the end of the class we will delete, not ill, so we will delete all what we created, right? So this is how we're going to go ahead with our labs. Please do put any questions and comments there. I'm continuously looking at the chat. If you have any questions, just put it in the chat and I'll be answering all those questions. So that's our because it's supposed to be totally hands-on lab, so I'm going to be recording every step, but also those among you who are who want to do with me, you can just do all the labs with me, or you can see the recording and do your lab. And while I'm showing you how the lab is done, you can just ask me any questions during that time. Why did you use this option? Why not that option? I tend to go in depth with the options there and discuss that why this option I've chosen, why not this other option. So we discuss everything in diagram, then we do the lab. So if you are able to follow me technically, it's okay. If you can troubleshoot your issues there, it's okay. Otherwise, you can sit back and see the lab as I'm doing that, and then repeat that lab when you get the video, and practice on it. And if there are any questions, just email me or WhatsApp me or text me, and I'll answer all your questions there, right? So there are these two ways that sit back, enjoy the show, try to understand what's going on, guys. So in interviews or projects, maybe you're right now are about to be given a project there. They will ask you questions about concepts, right? So I do contracts as well, and in those contracts they really ask, they do cross questioning, why this option, why not that option, why not we go this way, why that way, why are you suggesting that? So that's a lot of whys there. If you really understand everything that we have discussed and studied here, you will be able to answer all those questions. So you have to be knowledgeable, you really have to understand. So that's why I say that try to concentrate on what's going on, why I'm talking about this topic, whichever topic I will be talking about. And when I'm doing the lab, try to understand that lab. You can do that lab with me, but just to finish the lab on time, I would suggest that if you can be fast, then you can just do the lab. Otherwise, just look at the screen and then ask questions about whatever I'm doing, because I'll be explaining in depth. And then you can repeat the lab when you finally get the video. You will get for the whole lecture and the lab by the end of the day or the next day, and you can just easily follow that and repeat the video as many times as you want, right? So there's that question from Sean, and that is, are we covering Terraform? So Sean, Terraform is a third-party tool, but yes, since you asked, so I've been preparing a small lab. It's not that difficult, but yes, at least one lab would give you a very good idea about how basically to configure Terraform and then apply it in production environment. It gets really complicated, so I'll be giving one lab for that because of you asked it. So yes, well, I'll be giving that Terraform lab. Guys, what is Terraform? If you want to automatically create 20 virtual machines, 10 storage folders, and 3 or 4 private networks, so you just run one script and it creates all 20 machines, 5 storage accounts, and 3 private networks with web servers, file servers, and all other servers configured. So the script creates the whole infrastructure. That is what Terraform is for. So that is called Terraform. It's in the chat right now. So definitely a very, very useful thing. So we're going to do that lab as well. Definitely we will. So guys, interviews or projects, they will ask you questions about concepts. So my first emphasis is that I want you to fully understand what we are doing. Understand what we are doing and why, right? So, and why. Now, you must ask questions from me. You can't just stay quiet and nod, or, because it's online class, there are so many distractions at home. But if you really want to nail this course, you have to understand what we are doing and why, right? Second thing is, do we know how to implement the different features, right? You must be very good at it to implement the features, right? So just understanding and theory part would not be enough. It is a practical field. IT is a practical field. You must understand and then implement it. So that's why I'm gonna suggest that repeat all the labs done in the class at home, and create screenshots of all all the steps, right? Other colleges, I tell students to do that. Well, those who really work hard, they do that, and many of those are now at good jobs. So do we know how to implement that, and did you do the certification? Did you do the certification? So I'm going to talk about certification as well, but this is our strategy, that you must complete the certification if you want to really excel in cloud, because it's really there's so many jobs in the cloud, and that's what I was about to show you, that how do we see that, hey, cloud is so special and everyone's talking about cloud, what's the big deal about it? So this course, my first concept of giving a course is that the course must be job oriented. So my theory is, or concept is actually, that when you're done with that course, you should be so clear about all the features, about all the labs, about step-by-step labs, about all the options that you've selected and not selected, why you selected one option, why you did not select the other option. You should be so clear about that, that in your job environment, or if you're applying for another job, you should be comfortably saying that, those concepts. And if they ask, hey, did you do that? Okay, how did you do that? So if you have done the lab only, then you will be able to answer that question, right? So that's why I really put that emphasis on that, repeat the labs again and again and again if you want to succeed. So I also normally say that, hey, you really want to work hard now and enjoy the rest of your life. If you really work hard now, you can really enjoy the rest of your life. Many students have done the impossible things. They had family, they had other jobs, and still they, when they attended the course, they found out the time to repeat, understand the concepts, and repeat all the labs, and then finally they give the exam. Some of them are now on 35 per hour, 45 per hour jobs, and they're contracting. One of them is actually on a 60 per hour job. He had previous experience, but his hard work really took him to that level that he's now earning 60 per hour in Bell. So but the thing is that you can do that too. You can understand this course. You can, the only difference between those who are successful and you is that they really worked hard, and that you can do too, right? So there's a question there by Mulham. Will never rest in our life if we stay in IT. Okay, yeah, you're right. In IT, there's no rest. It's 24/7. It's IT, right? So, so guys, this is what I'm going to push you towards. That by the end of the course, you must know, you must be very comfortable in all the topics, not in terms of just understanding the topics, but how to implement the features and which features to select and which features not to select. You have to be so good in it that others will be impressed that, yes, this is the person that I should be putting on cloud job, right? The Azure exam is 535. No, it's not 535. It's there's another question. What is the Azure exam? So now we're going to go for exam strategy. That what are the exam? What are the certifications? What are the topics there? But since Ali asked that question, so Azure exam I've just put up there is Azure Lab, or Azure. It is called AZ103, and it is Azure Administrator. The exam is now Azure Administrator. Pretty much it's the the same stuff there. It's it was not 535, it's 533. There are 5 or 6 Azure exams there, right? So this is the administrator exam we're covering there. I'm going to be talking about exam now, but before that, I was talking about jobs that in GTA there are more Azure jobs. But if you understand the leader of the cloud, which is AWS, then understanding Azure will be a piece of cake, right? So that's why I am dragging one screen here, and that is Indeed.com, which you must know already. So I'm just going to put here AWS and AWS Azure. I'm just going to put that there, and I'm searching for jobs in GTA, Greater Toronto area, and then find jobs. So then there's a long list of jobs that are asking for pretty much. See this, the first job is Embross North America is the company. It is in GTA, and they want solid understanding of overall cloud infrastructure such as AWS, Google Cloud, Azure. Wow, all three, seriously. Okay, and DevOps. Then there is Anadata Consulting Canada, and they want DevOps there. If I click that on the right side, they are then mentioning, other than you should be a Superman or Superwoman, that they really need you to know some of the languages, Ansible, Jenkins, and well, there's that Azure. Well, that's Azure and AWS, right? So my concentration is that you should give the exam for AWS and Azure. You must. It's not should. You must give the exam. I have all the material. Previous 3-in-1 course, 10 students have already passed the Azure exam. It was not easy, but it's not difficult as well. It's not impossible. Senior sales engineer here. Next Pathway is the company in Toronto. And then they're asking about Oracle. Then they are asking about SQL. But then there is that Azure. They're more about databases. So if you have a database background, then you're good. But it's pretty much asking about Azure. If you go for IT support analyst, normally IT support analysts are level 1, level 2 jobs, but they need Office 365, ERP, and ultimately they will be going down to AWS and Azure. So this goes on and on and on. But the thing is that, I was just looking for the word Azure here, but oh yeah, there you go. AWS, Google Cloud, Azure, wow, all three. So there are so many jobs that are now available in Mississauga, and in one job, Cloud Solution Sales Executive, 90,000 per year. GCP, AWS, Azure, all three. Seriously, guys, all three was not used to be there, because in every class I show that. Now all three is kind of getting a requirement there. So Azure, AWS, and then it goes on. It goes on and on and on. Cloud Infrastructure Architect, Cloud Infrastructure Service, Cloud Engineer, Cloud Administrator. Wow. Okay, that's too much. And then there are pages after pages after pages, and they are showing about. So there are so many high-paying jobs for those who know all three cloud, especially AWS and Azure. I'm gonna make sure, if you really work hard with me, you will be comfortable at least in AWS and Azure, which I really want you to be, because those are the two that are really required. But then we're going to go for Google Cloud and understand that how Google Cloud really works with the same things that you've done in AWS and Azure. Now there is a question there by Sutarjan. So that's just one exam. So now we're talking about exams here, but before that we were talking about a job. So Ali was asking 535. So Ali is asking 530. So Ali, there are 570-533 used to be there for Azure administrator. Azure architect is 535, but that is not is, that was. So I'm just seeing on the chat right now that there are questions there. So the exam for Azure that we are covering here. Let me go for the exams here. So if we go for the exams, and the exam questions are coming here. So we are covering Microsoft Azure Administrator AZ-103. Now why AZ-103? Why not 535? So if we go for that 535 exam, so because that's a question now, so it 70-535 Azure, right? So when we go there, it's architecting Microsoft Azure, as I said. So this has changed to AZ-301 now, right? So we're talking about right now Azure Administrator. Now the 530 series, 533, 531, 535, they are all, there were 5 exams. They have changed those 5 exams to AZ 300, 301, 302. So we're targeting 302, which is, you would get most tickets from 302 exam, which is Azure Administrator exam, right? Azure Administrator, actually 103, sorry, AZ 103. And then there is that 301, and then there are 4 other exams, which are Architect, Database, and Developers as well, right? Yeah. So, I'm covering mostly 103, and if you go for 301 and 302, guys, already it is AWS and Azure and Google Cloud, all 3 exams. Now this question was that am I covering, other than AZ 103, am I covering the architect level as well. Now, if you cover a Azure administrator, you will be able to easily nail Azure 301 as well. But the thing is that you will this is the toughest one. Others are less difficult. So that's why I would recommend that if you really work hard on this exam, Azure Architect exam 301, 300 and 301 actually, you won't be seeing it as tough, because previous guys were also asking, no, I want to do Architect exam. But then when they went through this Azure Administrator exam, they themselves just gave that Architect exam. Architect exam does not have that many labs, but without labs, you won't be able to understand how networks really work in depth, how storage really works in depth, and how virtual machine really works in depth, right? So, Sean, I'm covering 103 exam, which is tough enough. The other exams are Architect, and we can only discuss about that. But yes, I can add here 5 or 6 more certifications, but then this will be a total, mixed soup of pretty much everything, and you won't get anything actually out of that. So let's concentrate on what was the success for other students, and then still many students are appreciating that yes, this is what they want to take. So we're going to concentrate on Azure Administrator 103, but after that you will be able to do Architect exam yourself very easily. That's what I'm telling you. I'm sure about, because the students in previous course and in other colleges, they have done that Architect after this very easily. But this is the toughest one. If you go for the toughest one, this is good. Now there is another question from Iaso, and that is, are we also look at databases feature Azure SQL? Yes, Iaso, we're going to be installing SQL Server in Azure. We're going to be installing SQL Server in AWS as well. I'm going to be actually creating a database inside. We're not going to go in depth with databases because this is a cloud data center course, but we're going to be talking about databases. We're going to be talking about all the features of databases. Okay, so there's another one question coming from Sean. What's the exam code for GCP admin? So it is actually GCP 11111. And when we come to GCP, then definitely will be going for this exam. Now there's another question. Why not? Wow, there are questions actually coming as spam. But please keep those questions coming. I'm trying to answer all those. So in fact, I'll just put that chat on in front of your screen, because those questions you need to understand as well, guys. And then I'm going to go for further introduction to the course and what you need to do for the next class. So our databases, yes, we're going to look for databases. Then there is this exam is retired. Which one? 103? No, 535 obviously is retired. We're not going for that. We're going for AZ 103. So I think we covered that. Why not Google certification so highlighted? Is it wrongful? So Rizwan is asking why Google certification. So that's a very good question, guys. Why Google certification is not? So Google does not have a big data center across the globe. It doesn't have that kind of investment that AWS and Azure did across the globe. So that's why Google is not yet there. Suppose Microsoft, Azure, or AWS, DoD, Department of Defense of US, asks for some services. So AWS will say, yes, I have those services or those features, AI features, artificial intelligence, right, or other features. So Azure would say, yes, I also have those features, but not as AWS. And Google will say, hey, we're coming up with those features. So that's why Google Cloud is not that famous. They don't have yet those services that big enterprises need, but they are getting there. So that's the third in the cloud. The top is the AWS, the leader in the cloud, then Azure, and then comes Google Cloud. But because Google Cloud hasn't invested that many or created that many data centers across the globe. Now there's another question from Ali. Is there any relationship between Azure, AWS, G to DevOps? If we want to be as DevOps specialists, which skill will be a requirement? So DevOps is a mixture of, you can say development, software development, as well as what you do in terms of system administration. But if you have a programming background, then you should go for DevOps there. I'm going to be introducing now certifications to you one by one, and then I'm going to give you the track for AWS, then the Azure, and then Google Cloud. Yeah, Samir has put some links there for Google Cloud, but it's still the third. I mean, it has a long. When we go through AWS and Azure, then when you go inside Google Cloud, you will say, "Ah, man, this is way back," because we would have gone through by that time so many advanced features, and you will not find those advanced features in Google Cloud. Then you will realize, Google is way behind, right? Now there's Anjum here. Hello everyone. Okay, hello. Now then there's Fahad asking, please don't go sideways. Just follow the course outline. We're all just gonna end up wasting time. Jobs come from knowledge first, not certification. So Fahad is correct, guys. We're asking about other courses, so that's what I was. Already we are 3 in 1, right? So that's I'm just amazed. But still, yeah, there are questions, so I have to answer. And then Kamal is saying, is snowflakes also going to be part of it? Snowflakes. Okay, yes, we're going to be doing that course in winter. So in -35, but you'll be in your home, I'll be in my home. So yeah. But if you're talking about Snowball, that is a service in AWS. Yes, we're going to be talking about that. So then there's question, Anjum, are you covering Azure security? Yes, Anjum, we're going to be covering Azure security as per AZ-103 exam objectives. And there's a lot of security options there that we need to cover. Samir is asking, is Cloud Stack valuable? It is open source. Now, that full stack, it's a software that you download on your own hardware, and then it works like a cloud, right? But you have to manage that hardware yourself. So yes, it is important, but more important is public cloud to be understood. Some companies are going for less expensive solution, and that is the cloud stack. Azure stack is there, AWS stack is there, Google stack, and then there's the open source stack there as well. You're welcome. Okay, Mulham is saying there's that Azure certification. Mulham has actually given the link for AWS certification. But so guys, let's go towards certification. I was trying to tell you about the market for AWS, Azure. You need to know both or three of them together, or at least AWS and Azure. You need to know these two together. Now I'm going to go back to the slide here, and I'll go to different pages here and going to talk about that. I hope everyone is able to see the slide here. I hope everyone is able to see the slide. Show content. Yes, okay, so you're able to see the slide. That's good. Okay guys, so I'm just gonna go ahead with the slide because I need to talk about this certifications. What is the certification track there, and which certifications are we pointing towards? So first of all, this is how across the globe they are spread across their data centers are spread, Amazon, Azure, Google platform. So I'm going to be putting that slide to you as well. Those whose accounts are good, who have paid already. So the material is available for you, and the video is available for you as well, right? So then we're going for, normally I ask for introduction, but it's okay. In second, third class, maybe I'll ask you that. And then I'm going, since I'm going to slide, so I have introduced myself as well. So my name is Amir Shahzad, and I have more than 15 years of experience in IT. I was a system administrator in a university back home, and there was Windows environment, Citrix environment, and Exchange server we had there. And then I came 7 years ago to Canada, and then I got a job in Scotiabank. There were 85,000 users there, and I was given the job for actually Exchange server, BAS server, and all that. So now I teach. In 2015, I left this job, and I do contracts, and I teach in other colleges. I teach in Georgetown. I used to teach in Humber College, but now I don't. And so my main emphasis is teaching. That's my passion, and I go for all advanced courses. So I'm just going to go ahead now. Now, leaders, Amazon Web Services, according to Gartner, normally they track who's a leader. It is in July 2019. They have shown there. Google is a bit behind. in terms of cloud leaders. Amazon Web Services is still the top. Microsoft is still gaining some ground. Other cloud, IBM, Oracle, Alibaba Cloud are still, in the infancy. So this is enterprise public cloud adoption in 2018 versus 2017. So it was AWS was mostly adopted, then Azure, then Google Cloud, and then other clouds. Then in 2019, now still AWS is the leader, but Azure is really catching up with AWS, and Google Cloud is still trying to go ahead. Right? The other clouds are still, way back. So public cloud adoption. No public cloud adopted. 21% of the companies haven't done that. This is 2017, but now it's a bit different. But you will see multi-cloud there. So suppose you are AWS expert. Suppose you are just Azure expert. It might not really work for you because in the long run, you will have to do the AWS certification as well. But I would suggest for GTA market, Greater Toronto market, that you should be Azure certified as soon as possible. And AWS certification will be a really big plus for you. And they will, if there's just an Azure certified and there's an AWS and Azure certified, the company would prefer that person who is AWS and Azure certified, right? So normally the companies will have multiple clouds, not just one. So 84% of enterprises have multi-cloud strategy. So they would just want multiple cloud, either AWS and Azure or Azure and Google Cloud. So AWS and Azure will be with the large companies, and Azure and Google Cloud would be with medium to small companies. They would have Azure and Google Cloud, but AWS and Azure will be with the large enterprises. And the job survey, so it is AWS is still on the second in the top. From the top, it's this is 121,000 per year, and then the fourth is AWS Certified Developer Associate, AWS Certified Solutions Architect Associate. So it was in 2018 still, and if we go back to 2017, still AWS was on the top there in top 5. If we go for job postings, so most jobs have been given for AWS. In fact, so there's a question by Indra. Is there any prerequisite before we write the test? Indra, no, there is no prerequisite there. Suppose you want to just give the test, so just give the money, $150, and go for the test. No, there's no prerequisite to give the test. And Ali is asking question that all clouds that mentioned are the same structure and pattern. Yes, exactly, Ali. Exactly. If you understand AWS and Azure, you pretty much understood what is cloud, and any third, fourth, fifth cloud comes there, you will understand clearly how cloud really works. So that's why my emphasis on AWS and Azure. Let's go in depth and really explore all the options according to those certifications, right? So definitely, that's a very good question. Now we talked about AWS was it started in 2006, and now it is the leader. So it started investing in cloud in 2006, and they're just saying that they are spread in 190 countries now, and they have data centers there. And it used to be very hard to procure all the servers, and 6 months you have to wait for that. Now you can just create 200 machines in a few seconds and make them start working on them and start doing business, right? So they're still AWS is still planning to expand in US, Europe, Brazil, Singapore, Japan, and Australia. So if we go ahead, there are 16 regions, and then there are availability zones in the regions. So guys, I need to tell you something about when we talk about cloud. Maybe somebody will ask you, hey, okay, how many regions Azure has? How many regions AWS has? How many regions Google Cloud has? So let me just quickly talk about the terminology. Then we're going to go for the certification track there. So if we go for another diagram here. So suppose there's that North Virginia here. Suppose this is here, North America, right? And then there's Europe here. There is Asia there. There's Australia here, right? So if it is North America here, and EU and Asia, so and there's Australia, Australia. Okay, so what happens is that region would be a physical area, a huge physical area. So there are regions in the East Coast which are in US, which are North Virginia region, suppose, and then there is that Ohio region, right? So these are in the east. So in the east there are two regions. What is region? Basically, a region would be a very large physical area. Now within the region, so first comes the region on the top, which is a very large physical area, right? So then comes availability zones. Availability zones. Now availability zones would be a smaller physical area, but we can say that, suppose there's an example, we have central Canada as a region. Uh, GTA would be one availability zone, and maybe Ottawa greater or Ottawa area would be the other availability zone, and it could be like that. They are a bit far from each other. So there can be, within a region, there can be 2 to 8. I'm going to be explaining 2 to 8 availability zones, right? And within the availability zones, there could be 2 to 8 data centers. 2 to 8 data centers at close proximity, right? Proximity. And then each data center can have 100,000 to 300,000 servers, physical servers, right? So each data center, 100,000 to 300,000 servers. This means it is huge, right? And if you have one region, so 2 to 8 availability zones. Zones are normally also considered as subnets or isolated availability zones, where one machine is in one availability zone and the other machine is in other availability zone. So 2 to 8 data centers at close proximity. So this means that, suppose one data center is in Toronto, second data center is in Mississauga, third data center is in North York, and fourth so on in London. So that would be data centers in close proximity to each other, and then each data center would have 100,000 servers, which is already huge, up to 300 or 400,000 servers. So that's really big, right? So that's why it would be really important to understand that how it would really work. All concept. Okay, there's a disturbance. Yeah, again somebody's mic is. So yeah, participants, and okay, I will try to check. So guys, okay, we're it's already all are muted. Okay, anyway, so what I'll just try to do here is unmute all and then mute all. Okay, so this is one region, and now how many regions are there within AWS? How many regions are there within Azure? So you understand that hierarchy here. And for AWS, we're going to start with AWS. So we're going to be always connecting to North Virginia regions there because it has all the services. Some regions may have lesser services. Some regions have more services there, or pretty much all services. But this is how huge it could be when you're going for these regions. And this could be data centers in Toronto. One data center, as I said, that in close by in different cities, they would have data centers which are close by, right? So if we go back to the slide here, I hope you were able to actually see that diagram that I created. Were you able to see that diagram that I created there? I guess so. So I was just I had just created that diagram here, this one. So were everyone able to see that diagram, this one? Okay, Okay, yes. Good. Thank
Yes.
you. Thanks, sir. Yeah. So I was just suspicious that I kept on drawing something and you may not have seen that.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, so what we were trying to talk about that how big the data centers can go, and then let's go ahead and talk about their the certifications, right? So, I was on the slide here. I hope I'm on the slide now. If you don't see the slide, then just let me know. When I
Okay.
say I'm on the slide and you
Has
don't see,
joined the meeting.
right? So you can just see that. So you can just tell me that, oh, we don't see the slide which you're saying. So I'm just going to go back to the slide here, and there are now it says the AWS cloud operates 44 availability zones within 16 geographic regions around the world, with announced plans for 17 more availability zones and 6 more regions. So in Bahrain, China, France, Hong Kong, Sweden, and second AWS Gov Cloud. So Gov Cloud is government cloud, right? Gray screen. Oh, you don't see the slide. Okay, so I'll just quickly put it to this slide. So I hope you're seeing the slide now. Thank you for confirming that. Yes, thank you, sir. Okay, so we have AWS Cloud operates 44 availability zones, 16 geographic regions around the world, with announced 17 more availability zones and 6 more regions in Bahrain, China, France, Hong Kong, Sweden, and a second Gov Cloud. What is Gov Cloud? It is government cloud. So governments are putting their critical data in AWS Azure cloud. So this means they are that secure that large companies and banks and then smaller companies, medium-sized companies are also going for that cloud, and they really need you to know that, right? So if we go further ahead there, how many regions? So AWS cloud spans 64 available zone and 21 geographic. So previous slide was saying 16, but that was older news, like 2 years ago or 1 year ago actually. Now it is 21 geographic regions. So normally I just go to that link where they have been tracking their infrastructure. Every year they are adding more regions, so it's always different. Next year you would just check, then go ahead and check on the AWS slide there. So so it's just saying what I just mentioned there. AWS cloud infrastructure is built around regions and availability zones, and this is how the infrastructure looks like across the globe. So there are those regions there, and then lots of availability zones there. And a region is a physical location in the world where we have multiple availability zones. So again, we're going to be working in availability zones. We're going to be creating machines in availability zones, but right now we're just understanding the infrastructure. So availability zones consist of one or more discrete data centers, each with redundant power, networking, and connectivity, housed in separate facilities. So these are state-of-the-art advanced data centers with latest available security features there. Excuse me. So these availability zones offer you the ability to operate production applications and databases which are more highly available, fault tolerant, and scalable. So scalable just means that what is fault tolerant, guys, and what is scalable? So fault tolerant is that if there's a fault happening on the data center side from AWS or Azure data center, so the machine will not go down. Suppose their full data center had an outage. So your machine should be available on the other data center if you paid a little more. And scalable just means that the boss says, hey, can you create 200 machines within the weekend? And after 10 minutes, you say, hey, boss, they're created already. I'm done. So the boss is like, oh, really? Wow, I'll increase your salary. Okay, just kidding. So here, the thing is that scalable, you want to have 2,000 machines in next few minutes, 2,000 virtual machines, suppose 2,000 web servers. Suppose it's, Boxing Day, and at the evening of the Boxing Day, you are anticipating a huge amount of people there, or a huge amount of users will be connecting to your web servers. So the boss says that, hey, can you just create hundreds of web servers there, or 200 web servers or 500 web servers. So you can just create with a script within a few minutes 200 or 500 web servers within few minutes. So this is scalable. We're going to be practicing that. We're going to be creating or configuring that feature which would help us create the infrastructure. And the AWS cloud operates 44 availability zones within 16 geographic, which is actually 21 now. I should have upgraded the slide. Now, how many companies are using AWS? So the answer is many. So, okay, there's a question from Achu here that what's the difference between availability zone and region? So if I go ahead to that slide or the diagram, and then I'm gonna share it to you. The diagram here, I'll just click the share. Oh, I think you see the diagram already, right? Or not? No. Yes, you see the diagram already. Okay, thank you. So this diagram here, so the difference between availability zones is that region would be one physical area within Europe. You will have one big area. Now this big area could be like, suppose it's Ontario is one region. No, normally it's not provinces or states like that, but suppose Ontario is one region. So within that you will have smaller isolated areas called physical areas called availability zones, and these are separate from each other in terms of IP addresses. They have different subnets there, and they have security parameters there, right? Within those availability zones, you will have one data center, second data center, third data center within one availability zone, one data center, second data center, 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 data centers, 1 2 3 4 data centers here. So if I just create that diagram again here, so that one region, suppose it's the North Virginia region. I always create a cloud like this because it looks cloudy. So North and Virginia region. So we basically have 6 availability zones here, availability zones, which are still different physical, smaller physical isolated areas. And these availability zones, we have 6 of them, right? So those availability zones here are separate. They have different IP scheme, different IP ranges schemes, and in terms of security, right? Just like you would just create a VLAN inside a network. I hope we understand what is VLAN, and different schemes. And then within those are data centers one by one, right? So data center 1 here, data center 2 here, data center 3 here, data center 4. Suppose this is a bigger availability zone here. Then there are data centers here, data centers. So why are we doing this hierarchy within a region? So this is one big region. They have smaller isolated physical areas within the regions. Those isolated physical areas have their set of data centers. This is just to keep the virtual machines and customer data to be
Has joined the meeting.
securely available and isolated as well. Suppose you are creating, and these are data centers here. So the data centers will have virtual machines here, and those virtual machines, suppose you create a virtual machine in this availability zone. So Microsoft or AWS will say that, hey, if you're creating that virtual machine here, I'm going to be creating a copy of that virtual machine for you in another availability zone. If you have an outage of this availability zone, right, a smaller isolated physical area, and then you will have its copy
Has
virtual
left the
machine here,
meeting.
right? You will have a copy of a virtual machine here. So if you have a virtual machine, if you have a data here, suppose the company has uploaded 10 terabyte of data here, you will have an exact copy in another availability zone here. And suppose you don't want to pay for having a copy of virtual machine across availability zone, you can have within one data center machine. So Microsoft says that, hey, you want to go cheap, so why don't within one availability zone, I will keep your machine's copy in 2 data centers here, right? So you can, if Microsoft has data center level or availability zone level outage, so you will lose connection with your machine because you're not paying much to Azure. So they have packages there. So it is for isolation, it is for security. You create availability zone, availability zones are smaller physical areas within one big huge physical area, which is region, right? So and then you have data centers, so they can have, if you have outage on availability zone level, you have a copy in another availability zone. If you have an outage on data center level, you have a copy in another data center as well. So that's how they separately they create isolated networks, so they can make your applications highly available by having a copy in a nearby availability zone, right? So and because I will be putting this diagram there as well, so these availability zone, so these circles were supposed to be availability zone. So I hope you will understand that. Does HA or high availability also cost more as FT or fault tolerance costs more? And do vendor by default manage replication of VM nearby? Oh, welcome. So nearby availability zone. So there's another question here, guys, in the chat. Very good questions, important questions are coming our way. So we should all be able to understand those questions and discuss those questions. The more questions about the topic, the better we all understand the whole environment. So does HA or high availability also cost more? So yes, Rizwan, HA and fault tolerance, you have to pay for those. If you want cross region data, North Virginia to another region there, so that will cost you. If you want cross availability zone, so that will be costing you. If you want it's going to be cheaper if you have across data centers here. So they do increase the price by per hour, and this is suppose 0.07 cents per hour for across the data center within one availability zone. If you want cross zone replication, it could be 0.12 cents per hour. If you want cross region, it could be 0.58 cents per hour, right? It could be like that. So yes, it costs little more to have more features like high availability and fault tolerance. So how we back up the disaster recovery? Okay, so there's a question there. Now backup is a separate feature in so backup is offered by Azure, AWS, Google, because this is one of the basics of is offered by pretty much every vendor, right? So without that, obviously you won't even do business with them. So that's one thing. Backup is available online. Azure is called backup.azure.com. You go to their site and then just purchase that service and it will start backing up. We're going to be doing that lab of backup, but all three vendors offer backup for disaster recovery. And the more high availability, fault tolerance, and disaster recovery topics we tackle, the more you will be comfortable talking about the whole cloud infrastructure itself, right? So but definitely the backup is there pretty much with every vendor. You have to purchase that service, and per machine backup, you want 200 machines you have there, you can back up all 200 machines. It's going to cost you some cents per hour per machine backup, right? So or whatever schedule you want to back up. So we're going to be doing one lab for backup as well, and we're going to understand how that works. So pretty good questions coming there because we need to understand in depth, in detail, more technical stuff there. And then we're going to talk about architecture stuff there as well, because I would try to cover at least the architect section, although this is about Azure AWS Architect. So going back to the slide, there's another question by Ali. The big challenge for government of Canadian US do not access if we say Canada is region. US availability can access to Canada data even they say your data is in separate. Yeah. So Ali, that is called compliance, and that is a very critical element there. Compliance, some companies say that our data must not leave the country. So there are compliance policies and support for compliance policies are available in every company. So compliance policies policies dictate that company data must stay in the country. So now that's why there are data centers created by these vendors in pretty much every developed countries and developing countries. So every developed countries, yes. So definitely, if the company says that, hey, our data cannot be in US region, so yes, they have Central Canada region as well, Canada Central region as well. And if they say, Europeans say that, hey, our data should be in our only EU area, so European Union. So yes, they have data centers there. If they have data centers, they grab that business. If they don't have, they will lose that business. So definitely, compliance policies are one of the main things that these vendors, Azure, AWS, Google, all make sure. That's why they are investing in millions of dollars, billions of dollars to create as many data centers in those major cities and major business hubs where there are lots of industries there, right? Okay, so we were talking about, let's talk about also the exam, because there's that link. I'm just going to be sending you the slide so you can see hundreds of companies are listed there who are using Amazon. But let's go down towards the cloud. So there's another question by Ali, and that is explaining compliance. So Ali, yes, compliance would be, on the architecture side. Now, compliance means just that you are following some company policies. So is your company compliant with the country rules or with the EU or European Union rules? If that's what you mean, also with compliance, yes, there are features there that will talk about, if you're in EU region or European Union region, so Azure, AWS, and Google are following all the, they're compliant with all the policies that they are giving there. But compliance is, when you are trying to configure a lot of services, we will be talking about this, that whatever company rules are, we're going to follow that rule. So compliance just means whatever the rules are there, just follow those, right? So it's not a separate topic, but it's part of the architecture, definitely. Now, when we talk about this, so I'm just gonna go ahead with the the certifications as well. But Microsoft Azure Cloud, the cloud you can trust, yeah, blah blah blah. But 62 compliance offerings, the largest portfolio in the industry. So Azure is talking about itself. 90% of Fortune 500 companies trust their business on Microsoft Cloud, and 120,000 new Azure customer subscriptions per month. So Azure is really going fast, spreading fast. In GTA, you would find more jobs there. But if you are good in AWS, you will be good automatically in Azure as well. You must understand both. 42 Azure regions, more than any cloud provider. Yes, they have more regions, big regions there. Microsoft. Now we're talking about Microsoft. Before we were talking about Azure, AWS. So they have regions, but still in terms of customer strength and in terms of revenue, still AWS is a leader. So I'm just going to go ahead and there's that analysis of what services are in AWS, what those same services are called in Azure, what those same services are called in Google Cloud. Just an example, virtual machines that we will be creating a lot of those during our labs. So virtual servers are called in AWS as instances. Actually, they're called EC2 instances. In Microsoft Azure, they're called just VMs. In Google Cloud, they're called VM instances. And App Engine, then there is Compute Engine in Google Cloud. So we're going to be visiting all majority of these services according to the exam objectives. But let's go towards the exam itself, that what is our strategy. There are other clouds there as well, cloud providers, but still we're talking about the top: Amazon, AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud. Then you should know when you suppose your boss asks that, hey, which cloud should we go for? So you should go for also some of your research that in 2018 which cloud had more outages than other. So Microsoft recently a month ago had 4 hours of outage in North American region. I think in Europe as well, their DNS was down. So on Monday morning, users were just sitting doing nothing, and that was really embarrassing for Microsoft Azure. So wherever the large corporates can spend money, they have budget, they normally go for AWS. They always go for AWS actually. If they have some budget restrictions, they go for Azure or Google Cloud. If they have really, very less budget, then they go for Google Cloud. So you should see that which platform is more stable, and if it is stable, of course they're going to charge you for that stability as well. That's why AWS is a bit pricey than Azure, and then Azure is more pricey than Google Cloud. So and then yes, this is just 2016 analysis. AWS had 108 minutes of downtime, while Azure had 270 minutes of downtime in 2016. But then 2017, 2018, 2019, you can just Google that and you will know that which has. Now comes the exam strategy here. So there are in AWS associate exams, professional exams, specialty certifications there. Now the good thing is that before, if you wanted to give AWS exam, you had to go to just 3 data centers in GTA. Now Pearson VUE also has the AWS exam, so you can go to any testing center and you can give AWS exams there, right? So what type of exams are there? So there's a AWS foundational exam, which is cloud practitioner, and then there is that, in this recommended experience is 6 months. But then there is AWS Certified Associate Exam, and that is Solutions Architect. This is where we are standing. We're going to be covering this Solutions Architect. This is tough, but this is very, very important for you. If you just type their AWS Solutions Architect in Indeed.com or other recruiter sites, you will see a lot of jobs where companies require you to know Solutions Architect level of data. There's a question here by Rizwan. I have seen banks have a competitor, so they go for Azure. They find AWS as competitor. But AWS is for large enterprises, and AWS is for medium, small, and Azure is for medium, small banks. So Rizwan, yes, it's up to the banks who they want to go for. Basically, large companies go for AWS. Now there are some companies who went for Azure first, then they saw some unreliability factor in Azure, that they had to first go and put some of their data on AWS. When they saw the stability of that platform, they pretty much moved everything to AWS. So the thing is, yes, banks would have or smaller companies would have AWS and Azure both. It depends on how big your data is, how many machines you want. If you have a large infrastructure and you can afford, you have a budget as well, then you can go for AWS. You will go for AWS. If you have smaller workload, you will go for Azure, and you want to pay, and budget is a main problem, then you would go for that as well. So Fahad says here in chat, AWS wants to have its own banking system, I believe. So banks do not want to support AWS. So AWS wants to have its own banking system. Now that's something, it's kind of non-technical now. So yeah, but if they want to have their AWS bank as well, that's they're going to be competitor. For now, I know lots of banks have AWS plus Azure, but AWS is where their main critical workload is. It's on AWS because this is still the most stable cloud platform. Then there's a question from Achu, and if you are thinking of certification point of view, which is better, AWS certification or Azure, and the marketplace market share in 5 years in your opinion? Yes, Rizwan is correct. Okay. So first of all, Achu, the thing is that AWS is the certification that I would recommend that you must have. But I've seen in different colleges where I'm teaching, the students are coming, and then there are administrators coming, there are senior managers coming, directors coming. So majority of them say they are on Azure, and within GTA, within Greater Toronto area market, Azure is much. There is much more. There are much more jobs there in Azure. My recommendation is those students who have done AWS and Azure both, they had more interview calls. Those who did Azure, if their company really required at that time Azure, they did the Azure. But those who did AWS and Azure, they were really, some of them were well received by the market. So I would just say that go for both certifications. But if you want to stick to GTA specific market, at minimum out of these two, give Azure certification. That's a must. So if you've just given AWS certification, that is also good enough. They will understand, market will understand that you know Azure as well, because you know AWS, that's the leader, so they will understand you know cloud at least very well. Market share, in terms of market share, large companies will still remain with AWS. Azure is still spreading, it's still gaining market, but Azure has some reliability issues. Azure needs to really overcome that. So in 5 years, I still see AWS on the top. Azure will be trying to fill the gap, but because companies want to save money, so they will always have Azure there. So minimum, go for Azure certification. But I would recommend after this course, better go for both AWS, Azure, and later everyone will be in the cloud, right? Everyone will be doing cloud certification. At that time, there might not be that value. Right now is the value for this certification, these two certifications together. So get better jobs by doing these certifications as soon as possible. That is my recommendation for next 5 years as well. You should get certified right away with these two, right? Or minimum Azure. Now, yes, Rizwan said AWS and Azure. Now, where Anjum says, are we covering AWS SysOp admin? Thank you. So we should go for AWS and Azure. That would be what I would be pushing you for. But if you're going for AWS, that's very good. You must do Azure for local market, yes. But you need to understand cloud better by the leader. So that's why I would push you to understand AWS first. Understanding Azure will be much easier for you after that. So, guys, please show which Azure certificates. Yeah, I'm gonna tell that. So Anjum was saying, are we covering AWS SysOps admin? So Anjum, we are covering this one, solutions architect here, and we're not totally covering SysOps administrator, but solutions architect labs. If you have gone through those labs, if you go through those labs, SysOps will be easier for you to do, because the labs here are tough, they are complicated. But once you go through them, and I'll make sure that you get the recording, you have step-by-step labs for that. If you really work hard on that, SysOps will be easier for you to go for. If you didn't do solutions architect AWS, then don't go for SysOps, because it's gonna be upright tough. So you must go through solutions architect to SysOps. That would be understandable by market as well. Market would also say, hey, you went for SysOps and you don't know the architect level knowledge. And when I say architect, it's not all theory and design. It's totally hands-on plus theory and design. But you have to be really into it to get market's attention. Otherwise, it's not gonna be a good plan. If you're good in cloud anyway, you can just directly go to SysOps, yes. But I would recommend go for this and properly do all the labs, understand all the concepts from solutions architect perspective first. And that is more in demand, this one. Okay, so Indra is asking which should go for. So Indra, what I'm saying is go for both certifications, AWS, Azure. If you had to choose anyone, go for certification wise, go for Azure. Understand both of them in depth. So lab wise, do both in depth, which we will be doing. But if you had to choose between the two, go for Azure, because in GTM market, I'm seeing more jobs for Azure. But your resume will look better if you have AWS and Azure. It will be like, wow. Okay, guys, so there's that AWS Associate Solutions Architect. Then there is SysOps Administrator. So this is the associate level. Then there's professional level Solutions Architect, which is even tougher than the previous one. And there's DevOps, which is for programmers, developers. And then there is that specialty, Advanced Networking, Alexa Skill Builder, which is voice command, voice-based, tasks. You do big data. There's a lot of demand of big data there. This is for huge data upload and then research and analysis. You have to do that in big data. Machine learning, again, you have to create those commands that would be programmed into machines, and they will just do it automatically. All those like AI or artificial intelligence. and security is a specific separate certifications. These are specialty. Now there's another question: are we only focusing on building Azure Amazon infrastructure labs, or there is any troubleshooting labs we doing in this course? On real world, we mostly focus on troubleshooting and critical issues. Yes, in real world, Anjum, normally we have ready-made infrastructure there. So here we are going through the solutions architect. If it has troubleshooting, we're going to do troubleshooting. In fact, when you're creating those labs, you will face those troubleshootings there as well, that if you have any errors, you have to troubleshoot those. But yes, we are creating infrastructures. We are understanding those features there one by one. Once we have created that infrastructure and we keep it there, then we can talk about troubleshooting as well. But troubleshooting as a separate topic, yes, in Architect they have added that. So we're going to go through those options there in terms of discussion. But what labs you're doing, if you are able to do that successfully, and if you are able to resolve those errors, yes, that much troubleshooting skills that you will gain this way. Yeah. So this would be the answer. Yes, we don't have actually, a company's data center here where we have our free account, and what we can do there, that's what we're doing here, right? So if we have some company's data center, yes, and if they've already made 500 machines there and 20 private networks there, yes, we can then start learning troubleshooting there. We have to create everything ourselves, right? And so we have to understand first the basic concepts. It's not even basics. It's you're gonna see it's a lot of if you have a lot of knowledge already, then yeah, it's your decision. But no, we're not having a ready-made infrastructure here. We are going to be creating everything from scratch. Okay, so we talk about these certifications, but we are here on Solutions Architect. This is a certification I would push you towards going for. Very, very important certification in terms of AWS. If you go for AWS Certified Associate Solutions Architect, if you just type that in Indeed.com and put GTA there, so you will see so many companies are requiring this Associate Solutions Architect. So this is Associate Solutions Architect. This is what companies are really looking for. And it's not, you don't have to take my word for that. You just go and search in Glassdoor.com or any recruiter site, ZipRecruiter, right? And all other, and you will see that they are more requiring that you should at least have Solutions Architect for them to accept you, right? But I'm going to go in depth, and I have added some sysops labs there anyway. So other than that, so this is where we are right now, right? And then we're going for next. I'm just going to go ahead and this is another way to see it. There's Associate, there's AWS Certified Solutions Architect Associate. So this is where we are. Practitioner, if you go for these certifications, this is good for resume, but we learn more here, right? From this AWS Certified Solutions Architect. So other than that, so this is just the AWS Certified Associate, and the page for that, I'm just going to click that, and it appears there.
Has left the meeting.
Share content. I think you're seeing the page there, right? So here, abilities validated by the certification. Now, it is just telling you exam is $150, 130 minutes to complete the exam, and you have to do it in testing center. So this is just overall what they want. Hands-on experience on using compute, networking, storage, and database. We're going to be covering all those. Compute for virtual machines, networking for obviously how to create private networks there, how to create huge storage and a lot of advanced features there, and how to create databases and what kind of databases are there. Hands-on experience with AWS deployment and management services, we're going to go for that. How to deploy those services, how to create those services, how to properly configure and secure those services. Ability to identify and define technical requirements for AWS based application. Ability to identify which AWS services meet a given technical requirement. So we're going to go through all that. These are the recommended knowledge we're going to that they're asking for exam. So this is what we're trying to cover in AWS. Now, main thing is compute, networking, storage, and databases, and we're going to be covering all that. So if I just put it here, does it appear really in the chat? Okay, so that's where these are the objectives of AWS that I put in the chat. and this is the link that I'm putting in chat, right? Now, second thing is that what in Azure are we covering? So it used to be 70-533, 532, 533, 534, 537. So, but those exams have retired. It changed to AZ100 and 101. Now it is AZ103. So that's what we're going to go for. This is tough. AWS does not. So AWS exam is just multiple choice. So if I just go down here to AWS certification is only multiple choice, while Azure certification is multiple choice plus 14 labs. So lab means you want to. They will ask you, okay, please create a virtual machine and connect it to files. So and then there are smaller labs and there are complicated labs. Those are 14 labs that are coming. Sometimes they make it 16 labs as well. But the thing is that you will get some labs. So I have created a video for 22 labs there, and I've created screenshots for those 22 labs as well. So I'll be preparing you for those Azure labs, and you must give those exams. Very, very important in the market that you should give that exam, right? So I'm going to be giving that. I'll be preparing you for that certification, right? So, but those are all labs. Now, if we talk about, if you go back to the slide here, I hope you're seeing the slide there. So I'll just go for. Yeah, so we were talking about AWS, and then Azure we're talking about how often 14 labs will be changing. Yeah, Ali has a question. How often 14 labs will be changing? So yes, last course 10 students passed those exams, and before that 2 months ago 1 student passed that exam, and that one student had 16 labs. Then he had 14 labs, and then after 2 months the 10 students passed. So pretty much 95% of the labs were same. So within 2 to 3 months we saw that the pattern is that the labs were pretty much the same. But we covered 22 labs, and there were 14 once, and there were 16. Majority of the students got 14 labs. So when we covered 22 labs, and if you have gone through all the hands-on labs that we will be doing, then you should not be worrying about that. But I'll be specifically preparing you guys for the exam of Azure, because I really want you to give that exam, Azure and AWS, as soon as the course finishes. Yes, the change within 3-4 months pattern is not there, but they could change. Yes, so we'll be preparing for that. There's another site called, I'm sure many of you know that, and I'm gonna put in chat now. That is www.examcollection.com, right? It's in the chat now. So that examcollection.com site is going to these are like sample questions for the exam, and it really tells you how what questions are coming there, and especially which labs are coming. So we get a good idea of which labs to prepare. Sometimes they are wrong, many of the times they are correct. So there are many other who are trying to give this course and give the exam, take this course and give the exam. So we will have a detail of who's giving that, and I'm gonna try to inform you about that. So we're talking about now Azure. So in AWS we're talking about Solutions Architect Associate. Here we're talking about Azure Administrator. Both of these are critical for you, for your career, that you understand both of those exams. So there's that AZ103 Microsoft Azure Administrator. They really need that in the market nowadays, unless you want to go with architect level. So if now, before I go ahead, there is that slide that just popped up in front of me. So this before I go to AWS and talk about the topics, so this is the study guide for AWS that is recommended. Please do purchase this study guide, and this is edition 2 that you're going to purchase. It has all the reference, but I'm going to be covering all the labs and according to the exam objectives, and this study guide would be our actual guide where I'm going to be going not exactly according to the chapter wise, but you can refer to this guide for whatever I'm covering there. So this is AWS Certified Solutions Architect Study Guide, but edition 2, which is released March 19, 2019, right? Don't go for edition 1. So this is the study guide, recommended one, but it's not that detailed. Like it is detailed, yes, but it's pretty confusing if you go alone on just on the study guide. That's why we're going to be going in depth ourselves with all the critical labs. So then yes, just ignore that. This is just timing. I've given you timing already, and I'm going to go ahead with some of the exam objectives before 10 o'clock. So I'll be recording all the sessions. This session is also recorded with all the questions answered, very important questions that you guys asked there. So you will get that recording. Those who are enrolled already, they will get the recording in LMS, which is Learning Management System. So I'll be creating your account in LMS, which is in a software called Moodle. That is universities and colleges use that software a lot. So I'm going to be sharing the slide and many of the links and study material in that LMS or Learning Management System, and the link to the video as well. So do your hands-on lab and try to just make sure that you are repeating all those labs. If you're not repeating your labs, this is going to be not very useful for you. Now guys, okay, that was my other email. Now I do go for career talk as well, that what are other must-have certifications before I go for Azure. So the must-have certifications here are, if you have done MCSA 2016, that's very good. It's a must-have. If you have done Office 365, very, very important certification. Nowadays, pretty much every company has Office 365. And Office 365 is not Word, Excel, PowerPoint. It is Exchange Server, which is a separate course, but it's included here. Then there is SharePoint. Then there is Teams software, which is Skype for Business, which was Skype for Business before for meetings and conferences. So we will be starting this Office 365 course as well. It has 3 certifications. It is a cloud course, so you should be very. It's a must-have course, right? Then there is SCCM course, which is System Center Configuration Manager. This is good to have. Like, this is advanced one. After the must-haves are done, you should go for SCCM. There are so many jobs opening right now for SCCM because Windows 7 is about to expire and they're all migrating from 7 to 10. So they are asking for System Center Configuration Manager experts there that really can do this job. I'm going to be launching SCCM course online as well. In fact, I'm thinking of putting it SCCM plus Citrix. Both are really tough courses, and critical labs of both courses we may cover. But the thing is that it will be later after this cloud course. So then the must-have is a VMware course. It is data center virtualization, and 80% of the market share is with VMware. So local data centers, right? On-premises are with VMware. So it's a must-have certification nowadays if you want to migrate your virtual machines from your local data center to cloud. So you understand cloud, but if you don't understand the major technology in local data centers, then it's kind of incomplete profile you have in your resume. So Citrix Administrator is good to have, but VCP is must-have. ITIL for change management, must-have. CCNA must have really. You should know how switches and routers really work. Either you go for Red Hat Linux as an operating system. You must know any one operating system. You must be an expert of any one operating system. Either Windows 2012, 2016 operating system or Linux. Better know both, but know one as an expert, other at least know something about it, right? And then again, must have is the Microsoft Azure and AWS, right? So really important. But so again, must have MCSA, must have is Office 365, and then must have is VMware VCP 6.7 now, and must have is CCNA, and must have is Azure Cloud and AWS, which is actually must have. So this is just a recommendation, a career recommendation. Then if you want to strive in the field of IT, normally I would recommend that you get a good hardware, i7 quad-core processor, get a laptop with 32 GB RAM and 500 GB hard disk. So this is normally important to do that. And always group together to do your certifications and do all the labs. You can just install TeamViewer and connect to each other's machine and try to do all the labs that we will be doing in next class. We're going to start doing the labs. If there are some new students in next class, well, I'll give them the video there to see the previous one. In next class, we're going to start the lab. So I'm going to tell you what to do, what to have there if you're continuing to join the next class. So I'm just going to go towards Azure now. This is what we're going to do in next class. I mean, we're going to be creating before the next class or on the next class, we will be creating AWS free tier. And then we're going to start the first lab. We're going to start configuring basic AWS with users, groups, roles. But let me just go towards that Azure, right? So for Azure, yeah, that was a good question. Yeah, just kidding. Okay, so AZ-103. I'm putting that on the web. Are you able to see that? So I'm on the web page there, AZ-103 Microsoft Azure Administrator. I'm going to be sharing that link with you now. This has all the detail of the certification, and this is one of the most critical certifications of your career. So I've placed that on chat now. Check that link. Oops, I put it 2 times. So there's that Azure certification. In Azure certification, we are covering a lot there. Manage Azure subscriptions and resources. And here, so AWS never gave it in this detail their exam objectives, but Microsoft has given those exam objectives there. The certification is $165, but I'll give you a link for, I think there's a discount vouchers or something like that. That site gives you voucher for 4 or 5 days or even next day valid, but it goes down like $100 or $90 sometimes for the certification. So anyway, now there's that manage Azure subscription. So we're going to be creating Azure subscriptions. We're going to be actually migrating our users or synchronizing our users, local Active Directory users, to the cloud, Azure Active Directory. This is the lab we're going to be doing in Azure course. And then we're going to be talking about resource groups, how resource groups really work, and also role-based management, how to give access to your junior administrators and just to other users who need only access to certain services, not everything. And that's related to security. Then we will go for in Azure storage. We're going to be creating storage account there. We're going to be understanding what is Azure files. We're going to understand what is Azure backup. We're going to do all the labs, how to export and import data, and how to create storage accounts and what are the advanced features there. So very important area. Deploy virtual machines. Obviously, we need to deploy Windows and Linux virtual machines. We will be automating the deployment. Very important. The boss says, suppose that, hey, can you create 200 machines in next half an hour? So we're going to learn how to create 10 machines in 1 hour, in 1 minute or 1 second, 2 seconds only, not hours, seconds or minutes. So how to automate the deployment. So we're going to understand that here. And then again, how to take virtual machine backups. Then we're going to talk about networks there, and we're going to create networks in Azure and also in AWS. So we're going to do load balancing. There's a lab for that, how to do load balancing between 2 machines. We're going to be connecting to private networks. A private network is called VNet in AWS, Azure, and it is called VPC in AWS. So they are private networks, right? So, and we're going to create subnets within the network. We're going to really configure DNS in the network. We're going to talk about network security group, what is the role of that, and we're going to actually implement that lab. and then we're going to be creating Azure VPN gateway there, just to understand how to connect or configure the VPN. And then we're going to go for manage identities there, which is Azure Active Directory, and also how to communicate, how to connect your local server to Azure Active Directory. So Ali is asking a question: are we migrating domain controller from on-prem to Azure and use AD Connect? Yes, exactly. So this is our pilot project. What you're saying there is our pilot project. We're going to be creating a local within the virtual box or virtual machine. We're going to be creating our local data center, sorry, not data center, domain controller, or we're going to install a Windows Server 2012 or 2016 and install Active Directory, create 390 400 users there. Then we're going to synchronize those users with the help of Azure AD Connect. This is our pilot project. In fact, we're going to go one step ahead. I'm going to ask you to purchase a website which is maybe $1.20 for 1 year, a website on GoDaddy.com. We're going to be adding that site as a tenant in Azure as well. I'm going to explain the whole scenario there, but we're going to go for that lab as well. And this is our first project on Azure when we start the Azure course after AWS is done, right? And then there's a multi-factor authentication here. So definitely in AWS and Azure both, and in Office 365 as well, you should know how to enable multi-factor authentication. And some of us may be using that in the companies, but multi-factor authentication is when you put username to enter Azure or AWS website. Only you don't have to put the password. In the cell phone, you will put an application, and that they will be within 30 seconds. There will be numbers popping up there. So you have to write those numbers after that password that you have written. If you write that number within 30 seconds, you will be able to log in. If not, then next number will come, then next number will come, then next number. So this is multi-factor, 2 factors of security. We will be implementing that. So don't forget to bring your cell phones on that day. Just kidding. Okay. Yeah. Oh, Indra, are you able to hear that now? Are you able to hear, Indra? Okay. So what I was saying is was that MFA is multi-factor authentication. So when you log in from your company website, so you put your username password. If you want to log into Azure or AWS, you connect. You put username password. So, but that is very insecure, and any hacker can grab your password from that website. So MFA just means that you can either have a hardware device, or we will implement that by installing a authenticator, Microsoft Authenticator, in our cell phone. So when you log in from that Azure website or Azure console, then you put the password, then still it will ask you the numbers that are coming every 30 seconds within your cell phone MFA application. So you have to put those numbers within 30 seconds. If you miss that, then it will generate new numbers in next 30 seconds, and then again new numbers in next 30 seconds. So you have to put that. So this is called 2-factor authentication. First you put the password, then you put the numbers that are generating on your cell phone. If you have your cell phone, only then you will be able to log in. If you lost your cell phone, then you won't be able to log in if MFA is enabled. So this is, then hackers cannot hack your machine, right? So that is MFA. We're going to implement that too, step by step. Also, okay, cool, welcome. So do we have lab that application server like Power BI SQL Server is in Azure and our DC on-prem? Oh, that lab is not in actually exam objectives. So we can discuss that, but we don't have that lab. But I can try to come up with that, although since it's not part of the exam, so that's why I did not. I don't have that lab. But if you remind me when we are doing Azure, so we can try to have a SQL Server on premises connected. Oh, we have to install SQL Server on premises then. That's a long task, and connect to and our DC on-prem. Oh, SQL is in Azure and DC on-prem. Oh, okay. Well, we can create a SQL in Azure, yes, but to connect it to on-prem should not be that difficult. So please do remind me that when we are doing Azure, so we can try that. Okay, guys. So this is about Azure AZ103. So we're gonna be going in depth with both AWS and Azure, and you will feel really confident if you have really worked hard actually on the cloud courses. If you really repeated all the labs by following the video, you will be very comfortable in both these. So overall cloud and many complicated labs are coming your way, but because it's going to be step by step and I'm going to be recording that, so it should be okay for you. Then we can go for Google Cloud Administrator, and that is Google Cloud Certified Program, and then there's console. So Google Cloud Platform is there, but if I just go for Google Cloud Certified Program here, you know, you should at least go inside Google Cloud, because some of the smaller companies will have, those who have budget restrictions will have Google Cloud, or if the company is totally developer company, they are developing software, so they will have Google Cloud as well there. So for that you should be then looking for at least, so I have this console here. In fact, because in last class we did a lot of labs on Google Cloud. Those guys wanted Google Cloud because many of those had, ouch, oh yeah, go to projects list page. Okay, I have one project here. Okay, anyway, so this Google Cloud has on the left side all those options. If you have gone through AWS and Azure, you will find that Google Cloud is kind of piece of cake, or it will, you should at least know that what services you use in AWS and Azure, what are those services called here in Google Cloud. But basically we kind of see that, you will see that Google Cloud is pretty much a carbon copy of AWS. They have even used the same names as AWS, but Google Cloud is mainly for developers, but system administration side of that, we're gonna cover that too, right? So but you know, my emphasis would be on that you must do Azure certification and AWS certification, so you can just go look for good jobs. But more than looking for applying for jobs, it's just that can you actually do things inside the cloud. So that's my emphasis. Are you job ready during this course, or after this course, are you job ready or not? So that's my emphasis. You should understand. When you understand, you will be able to give the exam anyway, right? Now there's that question here: do we need a good understanding of Active Directory in 2016 Windows Server so as to better understand AWS and Azure? Well, Indra, yeah. So first question is from Indra. So it's you know, if you don't have understanding of Active Directory and 2016, I will give you that understanding in our lab. But if you have a good understanding, that's very good. If you don't have it, then I will give you some you know, material there. If you have done MCSA, you're well and good. If you haven't done MCSA, there are so many students who came to cloud class. They just learned at that time Active Directory. They were Linux guys, but then they did some homework on Active Directory and then understood right away, okay, Active Directory is all about users and computers and security of those users and groups. So it was not that much understanding they really required to understand AWS and Azure, because AWS and Azure is data center, and on top of data center you have virtual machines, you have network, you have storage, you have databases. In the virtual machines you will have Windows or Linux operating system. So just knowing Windows may or may not be, you know, any of any big use to understand AWS cloud, because AWS and cloud is all about understanding data center. It's not about understanding operating system and Active Directory. So it's just one section, small section of cloud that you understand, one operating system, and it's Active Directory, right? So if you understand that, that's very good. If you don't understand that, that's not a prerequisite to do a data center course. So you're welcome. So do we need to add our credit info for creating account in Google? Okay guys, so this is a very important question. Now those who are continuing the course and we're gonna go in action in next class. We're gonna start doing the labs straight right away, because we need to start. There are so many labs, and I'm excited to go for those labs. I'm teaching that course in another college as well. I will be teaching in George Brown College in Casanova campus in downtown as well. So you know, people are really enthusiastic about doing these courses and these labs and understanding the cloud in depth. So Yes, for Azure, sorry, AWS, we must create a free tier account, which is actually for 1 year. And for that, we need our credit card info. You will have to create an account. They need to know who you are. You are who you say you are, right? So they need to know, and they can only know by credit card information. They're not gonna charge you for that. We're gonna do the labs together, and I'm gonna explain how the free tier really works. You can't just leave any machine powered on for weeks and weeks. They will charge you then. But in free tier, that's the main thing they do. They're very generous. If there are any charges like 0.07 cents, 0.2 cents, 0.10 cents, so they AWS has always reimbursed all the cents that may accumulate because we forgot to turn off or delete a service, right? So we will learn how to be responsible administrators in this course as well, right? So they always reimburse all the fees there. So this is something that we should now suppose they charge you $1. So you spend that money in the coffee pretty much every day. So if this knowledge gives us a 35 per hour, 45 per hour job, why don't we so we should not be really worried about this. But they reimburse every last penny to every student till now. I haven't seen them not reimbursing. Now after 1 year is done, do not create do not use services. They will charge you, right? Some of the services are free forever, like one of the virtual machine EC2 micro instance is free pretty much forever, like even after that is passed. But many of the services are not free. So we're going to be using all the services, but then we're going to delete after we have implemented and understood everything. So for next week, we need to create that account, free tier. For Azure account, we will create it once we are done with all AWS labs. So do not create it now. So Azure and Google account, Google Cloud account can be created for 1 year, but we will create it when we are done with Azure, right? So, and Google is also generous like AWS. They also just reimburse everything, although we're not gonna reach the reimburse. So then there is a question from Kamal that what if we already used 1 year free tier account? So that's a very good question. Suppose you've already used up. So AWS, as I said, AWS is really generous. So we can create as many AWS free tier accounts, but with different emails. That's it. This is what you cannot do in Azure. You can do it in AWS, but you cannot do it in Azure, right? So let's please do create the free tier account. In fact, it's last 10 minutes remaining. So on next week, we're going to start with AWS, which is the king in the cloud. Maybe there will be some more new students there, so I'll be just telling them what to do. The class lab will start from next week. If there are more students to join, they are welcome, because we will be starting the course labs and officially not next week, sorry, this Friday. So but I'm just gonna go for, if you can Google AWS free tier, Google AWS free tier here, and then click AWS free tier. So this is the page you need to be there, and I'm going to click that create a free account. Now this create a free account is pretty much filling up the form, and that's what you need to do before you come to the next class. I want that account to be created for you. I'll just put that link, but if you Google that AWS free tier, this is 12 months free tier. Yeah, some things to remember here, that you have to go for personal account, not business account. and you can put any company name there if they ask, and you will have to put your credit card information there, but it is totally secure, and they don't charge you. If there are a few cents charged, they reimburse you right away. But you are understanding a very critical service, so don't worry about those cents there, and just go blindly with all the complicated labs with me, and you will learn what you learn. You can enjoy your life later if you have a good job after that, right? So just be dedicated and be ready for tough work, hard work. The more hard work you do, you will get those good jobs, as other students have already are enjoying now, 35 45 per hour. But it's hard work required from your side, right? So if you're really determined, you will understand every concept. Put all those questions just like today. I love questions being asked, and if there's any question that I knew for me, I just Google in front of you right away, and then we discuss on that question. But I will answer all those questions. I love if you ask questions. It's a very active class. Then we're going to do step by step. Please repeat those labs, and you must give that exam at the end of this course.
A participant has joined the meeting.
So, so guys, you once you're created that account, you'll be ready for Friday 7 p.m. to 10. We're going to be working on IAM, which is Identity and Access Management, and we're going to be creating MFA there. So don't forget to bring your cell phone.
Can you put the link again for the free tier?
The link for the free tier, it's in the chat.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay, I'll put that again. Sure. So there's the link but you can just Google it, AWS free tier, and it will just take you there. I hope this link is working. Otherwise, you can Google it, because I just went there and it is okay.
So you're saying next class is 7:30?
This next class is Friday, so it is Wednesday and Friday, guys. So 2 classes per week. So next class is Friday, which is the day after tomorrow. So next class is on 13th.
Yeah, 7 o'clock, right?
7 o'clock sharp, exactly.
Okay.
So let's be here at 6:55, guys. Let's be here at 6:55. Our LMS accounts will be ready by Friday. Exactly, guys. So those who have done the payment, your LMS accounts will be there. What is LMS account? So I'm just gonna show you quickly how it looks like. If I go for Armor's online ID school.moodlecloud.com, so it is this. If I log into that, I'll be sending you all the information, those who have already done the payment. And others, please, before the next class or tonight, just interact, e-transfer the fee, $499. This is the cheapest. It's each course is $1,200 separately, but it's $499 for all 3 courses, and we're gonna work hard in that. And this is the second course. First course was total success. I want you to be successful here as well in this course. So, guys, I'm just gonna go to check that. You will see on your left side your courses or my courses there, and then if I just go to the course, and there will be, I'll be enrolling you towards this course, AWS Azure Google Cloud course, right? And seriously, why is it not opening? Okay, so I'll just go to that course page now, and you will be seeing that course page. Yeah, so it will look like this. Yeah, so this is 11 September to 17 September. It's week wise. I'm just going to be putting that, or I will change that format to day wise or topic wise. So I have already put exam SAA-C01 is the exam code there. Some resources are there. As soon as you get enrolled there, you will be seeing this page in LMS, Learning Management System, which is Armor's Online ID School, right? So I'll be processing that, and before the next class, you should be able to access that. Otherwise, please ask me on WhatsApp, and I'll be able to answer you. I'm here to help you, right? So all the resources are there. I'll be adding more resources on this page, and I'll be adding video link for all the class videos, plus slides and any kind of PDF files there. I'll be uploading there. So if I click the 11 September, then it's well, I did not put anything, so that's why it's empty, but I'm going to be putting after that. You will see that there will be files showing up under that, or it will be topic wise. So I'm just going to change the format because there will be lots and lots of topics there. Okay guys, so the LMS will be ready for you, and those who are about to those who have decided to go for the class, this is really an opportunity to do 3-in-1. Each course separately is $1,200, but it's a total fees of 3 courses is $499. Some students were really asking, so that's why I started that. So get that opportunity. If there are others who are interested, they should be there before the next class Friday, so they should start the lab, right? So alright guys, if there are any questions, please do let me know on the chat, or you can just ask me those questions now. And see you on Friday 6:55 sharp, right? And then it's going to be Wednesday, Friday onwards. Any questions? If not, then see you on Friday. Thank you, sir. And yeah, okay, bye-bye. So before Friday, please do the payment, or tonight try to do the payment so I could create your accounts there, right? Okay guys, bye-bye.
So if you already paid, you should be here on the MLS.
Yeah, then on Friday only those who have paid will be there. Today was a demo class as well.
Okay. Okay. Okay, good night.
All right. Thank you. So
A participant has left the meeting.
contact me on WhatsApp for payment info. Do contact me on WhatsApp for payment info. Thank you, sir. So on WhatsApp, you can ask and I'll tell you, or you can just email me as well on admin@itSchool.com. Right? So you can just email there, interact. So that's the email. But you can just contact on WhatsApp as well. Yep. Yes, you may transfer the funds on that email address. It will be an Interact e-transfer. My name and number is, just note it down, 647-554-9446, right? Amount is $499 for the whole course. Otherwise, it was $1,200 for just AWS, $1,200 for Azure, $1,200 for Google Cloud. So I just put it down to a flat $499 for just this course. Next course definitely will be, you know, at least $699 or $799. Welcome. There are some students who are interested in next batch, so it will be $6 or $799. So right now it's good offer, and do recommend and let others know as well. Thank you, sir. All right, see you on Friday. Next course, either it will be the same 3-in-1, or it will be Office 365 and Google G Suite. So those 2-in-1, where you understand Office 365 and Google Suite, which is just like Office 365. All right, see you. Thank you. All right, guys. So if there are any questions, let me know. Otherwise, contact me on WhatsApp or email me, and I'll be able to answer you on those. So have a good night, and see you 6:55 sharp on Friday. Stopping the video now.